The feeling of throwing this club that way is so profound. When people get it, it frees up the swing, it frees up the start of the swing, it frees up so much. So we're staying connected just a little bit. Now notice, I am not just kind of keeping the arms clamped in here. I'm not keeping them so tucked in that I'm just whipping it inside and it's like, oh, I'm connected now, great. No, I'm still allowing the hips to turn. There's weight on the front foot here, then weight in the heel of this foot to move it back. And what that does, that enables the sequence. And we momentum to help us in the golf swing. It's the most natural thing we do in the world. We use momentum to throw something, to kick something, but we have to sort of start, the swing with a little bit of momentum. And the way I try and expose this a little bit to people is, imagine that you're just holding your club here, all right? You take your address position, and I said to you, right? I said to you, I'll give you $100 for every yard you can throw this golf club that way, sort of over my shoulder that way. You would be hard pressed, okay? You would be hard pressed to throw it far by keeping your body static and just starting from a static position, all right? You would need to actually start with a bit of momentum, and you would probably naturally. You would just sort of gather a bit from here, okay? From over here to sling it over that way. And that's where the sequence comes in and the momentum. Now notice, I'm not just doing it with my hands. I would use, and you would use, and I want you to try it, you would actually probably notice that you use the ground a little bit more, that your feet are sort of moving a little bit more. There's weight on the front foot here, then weight in the heel of this foot to move it back. And what that does, that enables the sequence. And we can actually train this a little bit by making a setup, all right? And I want you to just raise your heel up there. I want you to raise the heel up, okay? So we're going to feel a bit of pressure into the front foot. So I'm raising my left heel just to start my pressure here. And then as I place my heel down, all right, I'm going to allow the hips, the ankles, the hips to sort of get out the way, to wind up, to be able to sling and throw this club that way, okay? There's the sequence that we want, and that's going to pay so much dividends as opposed to being static, all right? So we need momentum, and we need to use that sequence to gather and throw. And the feeling of throwing this club that way is so profound. When people get it, it frees up the swing, it frees up the start of the swing, it frees up so much. So I want you to practice that with the heel, okay? And just sling the club back. Now we can practice it when we get the hands down, so we raise the heel up and sling the club back, all right? Imagine that you're throwing it that way, and we just reverse the movement. It's as simple and effective as that. So work on that drill. And the sequence, we can go into the backswing and the through swing. We're not caring about that. This is just about starting. So as we start, we want the feet to always sort of be moving, all right? I don't want to see you ever really being static. Keep those feet moving. The weight is shifting forwards and backwards, and I'm practicing this movement here, okay? That's what's going to give me rhythm and timing, and it's going to relieve so much tension, but it's repeatable, because even the little diddy shots are repeatable when you allow a natural pattern to happen. So keep those feet moving. Work on that sequence and feel that throw to start your swing. It's going to do so much good for you. We want flow, but we also want to stay connected. And one of the major faults I see when people try and start their swing is getting disconnected. And it can look something like this. So we'll use that head cover in a minute. Disconnected is actually something like the arms lifting up a little bit too much, or whipping the hands on the inside, or more often than not, it's going to look something like this, where we're trying to take the club away because we're trying to rotate and sort of do this kind of movement there. And we kind of get into this position there, right? And it's kind of hard work to manipulate the club back from there, even if it's a little bit more subtle than that. That sort of arch movement, lifting the hands up, causes issues, right? So we want to stay a little bit more connected. So what we do, I want you can use a head cover, you can use a glove, a towel, whatever you need, and tuck it under the left armpit here. And what we're going to try and feel on this takeaway, we're going to try and avoid the arms kind of lifting up as one thing, or rolling the forearms here, but we're also going to try and stop them just crossing the chest without sort of turning the hips, because we're still trying to get that sequence of throw, but we're coupling it with a connected sort of structure here. So the feeling is going to be like we're throwing, but we're staying connected just a little bit. Now notice, I am not just kind of keeping the arms clamped in here. I'm not keeping them so tucked in that I'm just whipping it inside and it's like, oh, I'm connected now, great. No, I'm still allowing the hips to turn, the hips to go up. I'm feeling a winding action from my feet, from that momentum, but I'm just staying a little bit connected here to keep those arms in front and to keep this neutral, all right? And I'm allowing that club to lag back. But my little guide is this head cover. So we can maintain that structure and get that width, okay, just to start the swing there. And we can practice little shots like this, just tiny little chip shots, staying connected, okay? So we want to feel there. And you work on that. You work on that feeling and keep building it up. Just start your swing. And you've got to piece these things together. So I'm trying to break it down, but this is a wonderful drill to stop those arms getting away from you.